Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So my name's Katie and today I'm going to be doing a video talking about all about my favourite tropes. So I just filmed this video and this is the first time this has happened to me and it wasn't recording the whole time. So now I have to refilm it. So hopefully it'll be good because I've already been through all the tropes, so like I'll be able to talk about them a bit better. And I can like cut down on some editing time. But yeah, I'm so annoyed with myself. But anyway, so we're going to be talking about kind of fantasy tropes and also romance tropes. And I guess there is a bit of crossover in the books I read because like often the fantasy books will have kind of the romance tropes in them if there's romance in the fantasy. But I feel like in my head, some of them feel like more fantasy tropes and some of them feel like more romancy tropes. So we're going to split them up a bit. And I'm also planning on making a video which features my least favourite tropes. So yeah, you can look forward to seeing that one, although I feel like a lot of romance tropes will be on that one because they're more ones that I dislike. I feel like there's not many fantasy tropes I dislike really, to be honest. So yeah, so anyway, let's just get started. So the first trope which I love so much is like talking animal companions. Just any book that features this I will instantly love it, like it's almost guaranteed. So many just I even have a whole video dedicated to talking about this trope and like book recommendations based on the trope, so I'll leave it linked in like one of the cards. But yeah, it's just so good. I just love like animals, they're so cute. So yeah, I think I forgot to mention in this intro, but if I can think of like a few books I will recommend them to go along with the trope. So like I said, I do have a whole video, but like Realm of the Oddlings by Robin Hobb, I love all the animals in that series so much. And also Methy from the Bone Chad's Daughter. There's just so many which I just love so much, and just and also like a very similar trope, but they're like talking inanimate objects, or like talking swords, talking keys, like in the Boundary Side series. I just love them all so much. There's just something about it that just, I don't know, I just love. And there's also in the like Paladin's Grace series by T. Kingfisher, there's these like talking badger creatures called gnolls, who just provide the best like sarcastic commentary throughout the whole series. So yeah, it's great. I have my own little animal companion Maisie. I will put a cute picture of her in here. And she is currently asleep, so I'm not going to go and disturb her and get her, but yeah, so I think just the inner animal lover in me just loves this trope for so many reasons, but yeah. And then another one of my favourite fantasy tropes is the like grumpy mentor, like feral mentee, orphan mentee type trope. I just love it and it just gets me every time, and like the dynamic is just so like, chef's kiss. So a couple of books which I really love which do this. So the Unspoken Name by A.K. Larkwood, which is book 1, and then The Thousand Eyes, which is book 2. So both books have this trope with different characters, and book 1 is good, but book 2 is my favourite like iteration of this trope ever. I just love it so much. Yeah, they're just my favourites, and that book just chef's kiss. And then I also love like Kelsey and Vin from Mistborn. I am definitely planning on filming a video with this trope and like examples of it and like books to read if you like it. So yeah, be on the lookout for that one. And then another trope which I really love, which I feel like maybe a slightly unpopular opinion because I know a lot of people don't like this so much. Well, I guess I'll explain. So they're like resurrection trope. So no, it's not. What have I done? I've just cancelled myself. No, I don't love the resurrection trope. I love the faking the death trope and then the character comes back. I don't really like the resurrection one. I feel like for different reasons, because mainly I don't like the way they resurrect the characters. It just pisses me off. Like, because, well, if they use CPR, they always, like, especially in a fantasy book, like, if you can bring them back magically, why on earth would you use CPR, which is usually, in a book, incorrect? So anyway, that's my little rant over, but the actual trope that I love is when a character fakes their death and then comes back, and I just love it so much. It's so satisfying. There's a couple of series which do this and I love it so much. I'm not gonna name names because I feel like that might be like spoilery, but yeah, there's a certain character who, if you've been following me on Twitter, from the beginning. You all know my obsession with. And yes, I feel like my love for this trope stems from The Lion King. When I was little, and there's a scene where like Simba reappears on the rock, and like Scar and all the lionesses are like down, and like Simba comes, and then there's this big flash of lightning, and Scar's like, Mufasa, and then yeah, that scene I just love so much. I used to like go back and rewind like 5 times to rewatch the scene whenever it came on in the movie. Like, that's just my favourite part. I don't know why, it's just so satisfying. So I feel like now the like resurrection, no, it's not the resurrection. Now the like when they fake their death and then come back, that moment is just so satisfying. Yeah, I also feel like The Lion King 2 is responsible for my MILF simping. Yeah, that was maybe not the best thing to confess. I promise I'm not a fairy. But anyway, yeah, so we will leave it there. But I also love the evil unhinged MILF trope. I don't know if that's even a trope, but I love it. The best ones are Stormlight 4, Rhythm of War, the Dandelion Dynasty series for Gia, and the David series for Maniza. Yeah, anyway. So yeah, I love that trope as well. Then also another trope that I love is like magical creepy forests, or like magical forests or creepy forests, or both. And not even just forests, like any sort of magical landscape I really love, like when they kind of, you can like hear the wind and like the they're like earth talking to them, and I don't know, I just really love that trope. And I feel like I'm way more of a like mountainy, foresty, lakey person than a beach person. Like, I'd far rather go on holiday to like mountains with forests than a beach. So I think that's partly why I love that just sort of atmosphere, like the foresty atmosphere just speaks to my soul. And also I grew up very near the Peak District, which is a national park in England, and just spent a lot of time there and like in like woods very near where we live, and like yeah. So I would just feel very like at home in that environment. I don't know, and just that, I don't know, something about trees is just very healing to me. And again, I love creepy woods as well, like the kind of magical, I don't know, it's just something about it is just so cool. So yeah, a series that I really love, which features this, is For the Throne by Hannah Witton, and this is the second book actually. The first book is called For the Wolf. Yeah, it's a really great series with a great magical forest in, very atmospheric. Also the R.J. Baker, who wrote the Bone Ships trilogy, is coming out with a creepy magical forest fantasy book. I guess next year, because I haven't heard anything about it for this year release, so I assume it'll be 2023. But I'm so excited for that book. So yeah. And then the final trope I'm going to talk about, and then that will nicely transition us into a romance trope, is the arranged marriage trope, which I love. I don't know why I love it so much. I feel like it's the like forced proximity, but then they slowly growing closer, and like when they have like fake being like married and in love, and then but there's like scenes that they get into and it's like they're actually catching feelings, and it's just so good. And then like the first time someone's like, that's my wife, or that's my husband, and it's just all so good. Yeah, and I feel like this is more of a fantasy trope for me, because I feel like the only really arranged marriage type things I read is more in fantasy. But yeah, so some books that I love that do this. So Radiance by Grace Draven is a great one. That's like fantasy romance. A Stranger's Stubborn Endurance by Fos Meadows, which I read quite recently, or this year, is another book that does this. And just something about it is just so like, oh, satisfying and good, and I just love it. And then the kind of romance equivalent is like Fake Dating, which is another thing which I just absolutely love so much. Yeah, it's just chef's kiss. That the whole thing when then like when they have like fake kiss, but then it gets passionate, or like call each other like, what are they called, pet names, like sweetheart or baby, that kind of thing, like in front of other people, but then it actually like means something, and I don't know. Anyway, yeah, a Fake Dating is just god tier. Another I guess a book which I really love which has fake dating is oh, is it Take a Hint, Danny Brown? Yeah, I'm getting really confused between the Brown sisters titles now. Yeah, Taking Danny Brown, I feel like that one has fake dating, which I love. I feel like there's so many romance books I've read which have fake dating, so yeah. And another, so this is from a TV series actually, but when Jake and Amy like have to fake being on a date in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, I love that. So yeah, so anyway, fake dating is a great trope. Also, Grumpy Sunshine is one of my favourite romance dynamics ever. Also, not even necessarily a romance, it can be a friendship as well, but that just like dynamic between two people in a relationship of any kind, I just love and eat up. It's just so good. Like, I feel like I always love the like sunshiny characters, and like when there's like a grumpy person that they have to look after, I just love it so much. A couple of books that I read like recently, so The Perfect Crimes of Marion Hayes is very Grumpy Sunshine, and especially if it's an MF relationship and the man is the sunshine and the woman is grumpy, that's just like the perfect combo. Yeah, what's some of the books? Winter's Orbit, that has Grumpy Sunshine. I've read so many, like if a book is described as Grumpy Sunshine, I would read it instantly, to be honest. Oh, what is it? Oh, not Count Your Lucky Stars. Written in the Stars, by Alexandra Bellfleur. That's like a sapphic Grumpy Sunshine. So yeah, it's also good. So yeah, I just love that trope. And also the like, this one is more of a friendship trope and also more of a fantasy trope, I would say. But like platonic soulmates, just I get more like invested in them than like a romantic relationship. I just like when they're just so like ride or die and like the whole lives in all. So I feel like the main example of this is Fitz and the Fool. Like the brain rot is so real with them, but I also feel like I've seen it a few other times, and I just every time I'm obsessed with it. Like Rin and Katai from the Poppy War, I feel like another good example of that. And just that like really like best friends, and like I don't know, it's so good. I love it. Oh, Gideon and Harrow. I feel like a lot of people ship Gideon and Harrow, and I kind of do, but also I feel like they are just like they're kind of soulmates, but not necessarily romantic. I don't know, like something about it. Like I almost ship like romantically Harrow and Ianthe more, but like Gideon and Harrow just destined to like be together. I don't know, in the same way Fitz and the Fool are. Like, oh, that's just my opinion anyway. But yeah, so that trope I just love. Yeah, we ended up back in fantasy there. But so then another romance trope I love, like basically everyone else on earth, is There's Only One Bed. And this trope just always, I feel like so many books have this now because I feel like it's gotten so popular. And it also kind of this kind of scenario which would never arise in real life, but it is so good. And just everything, like whether something ends up happening like in the bed or like nothing ends up happening, but just the tension is just always so good. I feel like I'm a bit of a sucker for like any sort of forced proximity type thing. Yeah, and also the like when they like go to sleep like apart and then wake up like cuddled together, just gets me every time. And just the like just everything about There's Only One Bed is just great. So yeah, I can't even think of any examples off the top of my head because there's like so many books which have it in. And I also feel like I've read some books which sort of break the fourth wall a bit with the like There's Only One Bed, and like then they're like, oh, this is just like a romance book type thing. So yeah. And then another trope which is more kind of specific to historical romance is the like rake wallflower trope. Also There's Only One Bed hits so much better in historical romance. But anyway, so yeah, so the wallflower rake trope, which if anyone has any recommendations, I really want to know more, because ever since I read The Ruin of a Rake by Cat Sebastian, I've been obsessed with this trope. Because one of the main characters in that book, Courtney, is like one of my favourite male romance protagonists ever. Oh, I just love him. And just the kind of the whole dynamic, like where there's a rape that's kind of slightly on the more reformed side or getting that way, and they're just in love with someone who's really quiet and shy, and like they can see them, but the like wallflower person just doesn't, like, I don't know, it's just so good. I just love it. So yeah. And then another trope which I really love, which actually also is in The Ruin of a Rake, and I'm sure a few other books, I've definitely seen this trope quite a bit, but it's like where one character's hurt or ill and the other character's comforting them or like looking after them. I just love that so much. And again, like not necessarily it doesn't necessarily have to be in a romantic context, although I do love it in that context, but even in like a familial way or something, I just love it. I think it's their like inner healer in me. And like looking after, who likes to look after people. I feel like that's why I love it. And just, yeah, especially if they've had like an argument or something and then one character gets really hurt and then the other character's like looking after them, and I don't know, it's just so good. So somehow this video has managed to be longer than the first time I filmed it. I don't know why, because I feel like I was talking more concisely, but anyway, more gushing. So yeah, so I feel like there's many more tropes which I could just bang on about, but we will leave it there for now. Let me know in the comments any favourite tropes that you have and maybe some books featuring those tropes. I would really love to know. And yeah, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like and consider subscribing if you haven't already. And I hope everyone is having a really great day, and I'll see you next time.